years on the same theory. But when it comes to some other documents, we actually go back much, much further. We look for easements. For those of you probably remember, if you don't deal with it all the time, if you're just thinking back to law school, what's an easement? An easement is a non-possessory real property interest in the property of somebody else. I have the right to cut across your land. I have the property to park my cars in your driveway, whatever it might be. It's a real property interest, non-possessory on the land of somebody else. And those easements, most times, unless they have some termination provision in them, run with the land. Therefore, you might have an easement that's 200, 300, 400, 500 years old. Maybe not 500 years old, but certainly could have a 200, 300-year-old easement that might still be effective today. You want to make sure that when some guy in the early 1800s, the late 1700s entered into an easement for whatever it might be, that thing might still be effective today and still burden you on the property that you're buying. Same with covenants and restrictions, commonly known as C and R. C for covenant, R for restriction. These are agreements that are entered into by prior property owners that in many cases run with the land and restrict the use of the property going forward into the future. These are the types of documents that we're looking for when we're going to the county recording office, and these are the types of things that we turn out. And this, by the way, when it comes to covenants and restrictions and easements, is sometimes why you'll be a little shocked, or maybe not so shocked if you're a regular practitioner, to see in your title report some poorly photographed calligraphy document that nobody could read anymore from the early 1800s. Believe it or not, we have in our office, and I'm sure that every other title company has in their office, these people who look at these calligraphy documents all the time and who could read them. It's really incredible. Most of us have no idea how they could do it, but they know exactly where in the document the key language is going to be, and they could read stuff that you and I can't see because they're looking at these things all the time. So that's what we do at the county recording office. The next major search that we do is we go to the county clerk's office in the county where the property is located to look for mostly the liens and encumbrances type of stuff. Judgments, lis pendens, mechanics liens. In New York City we have something called the ECB, Environmental Control Board, PVB, Parking Violations Bureau. It really depends on the county where the property is located. There are more or less searches depending on the various agencies that operate in those counties. Judgments, we're looking for the slip and fall for the guy who fell in front of your property in the snow and sued and got a $50,000 or $75,000 or $100,000 judgment. Lis pendens and mechanics liens are two that I'd like to take just a couple of moments to talk about because they're really pretty important and really pretty powerful. In the world of title insurance, and we'll talk about this in the back end of the program in about 10 to 15 minutes, there's a lot of things that a good title company can do to try and work out and resolve issues that come up in the title search to get comfortable to allow the parties to close with that item that might exist on the title report. There's ways to escrow monies. There are documents that we could take that allows us to remove an exception to the title report, remove it, and now restore that issue to the title policy. There are a lot of things we could do on a lot of items. There are two that are very, very difficult to deal with: mechanics liens and lis pendens. Talk about mechanics liens first. Mechanics lien, and then you could probably do a 3-hour class on mechanics liens, but I'm just going to touch on it briefly. A mechanics lien is a very, very, very powerful lien, and the legislature determined at some point that contractors who work on property, improving property, who sometimes get stiffed or beat out of their bills, should have a powerful tool to allow them to collect upon their money and not get cheated or beaten out of their payment by a property owner who doesn't do the right thing. So they developed a statute